Alamaray and my relatives. We're here during the golden hour at the lower left corner of the Golden State, and we have a bit of a situation. There's there's a bit of a geyser happening here on Schuyler Street. Yeep. However, that's not what this video is about. I'm having my third cup of coffee. I intended to start this after the second cup of coffee, or during the second cup of coffee. That's a tradition I got from my commander-in-chief, Mark Charles. Thanks, Mr. Charles. It's been a long day. I had to spend a long time doing application things to become a substitute teacher, even though I was a teacher of record in San Francisco. That's not part of this story. I've been practicing and singing and been too nervous to start the story, but here, let's get started. So we're here on Kumeyaay lands, north of the wall, the narrow fortress which still stands, unfortunately. You know, I didn't have a chance to look up the records before I left where I came from, so I don't know when it's coming down. I'm pretty sure it's soon. Oh, that's good. Thank you, coffee. Thank you, people who grew the coffee in Colombia. Abiyala, I believe, is what the original peoples are calling South America. So like I said, we're here on Kumeyaay lands, now called San Diego, Kumeyaay North. And I've played this song before for you, but I don't know how long this story time is going to be, so let's get to it. I was I'm already nervous. So I want to share with you probably the most important lesson I learned in public education. All of my formal education, I think this is the most important lesson. I was not in AP US History, although I was put in the honors track from an early age, grade 3. They ushered me out of the general classroom at Paradise Hills Elementary, and they're like, "Alan, you're so special. You have to take this test." It was pattern recognition test, and then I was in the GATE program, and then I was in the seminar, which is the upper echelon, the 1% of the GATE program. And I would have been an AP US History, but it conflicted with band, and so I was like, nah, I don't need AP US History. And thankfully, I was in Mr. Nelson's class, Mr. Chris Nelson, at the corner of Mount Miguel High School, the corner on Blossom and what used to be Sweetwater Road before they put up the freeway. And so I was in general population, and the very first day, we sat down, and he's like, "Well, here's the lesson. We're going to have you draw the map of the United States, but you're going to do it upside down." And I was like, this is stupid. And so silently, I just drew the map the way I knew it, right side up, and then just flipped it upside down and labeled it. And he came over, and he didn't say anything, but he's just, I imagine in his head, he's like, "You little shit," because I was a little shit. However, I've reflected so much over the ensuing decades on that lesson, and it was an incredibly wonderful lesson. And while I was teaching in San Francisco, I was using Google Earth, which I'd used many times before, for many reasons, and I decided to turn the map because upways is the old world way. Upways with London in the middle and on the top, that's the old world. And that's the Conqueror's map, and we don't need that. We don't need that Mercator projection anymore. So I turned it sideways, so the east was up and north was to the left. And suddenly I saw so much, because you can see the whole best coast of North America from that perspective, because the view screens that we're looking at are in landscape. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, if you have a device handy with you while you're watching this, or somebody else with a device, just go to Google Maps, set it into we do a satellite mode so you can see what it looks like from space, and turn it not upside down, which is valuable, but turn it so the east is facing up, and then zoom out so you can see all the continental United States, and then we're going to go from there. We're going to zoom in, and we're going to tell a little story about a river. And the song that I will sing at the end of this is from Frozen 2, and the mother is singing a lullaby to her daughters about a river called Atahalin. And I won't tell you the secret of Atahalin, but I think that this song may very well have been written about this other river I want to tell you about. So if you zoom in from there and you zoom over to the left, and then zoom in so you can see the whole state of Washington, and then in the lower left of that image, you'll see this entrance from the Pacific coast. So you imagine you're sailing from the Pacific Ocean, just like the original discoverers. And there's the waters are currently called the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and whoever that was, and it's a really wide entrance from the Pacific Ocean into this inland sea, which is the Salish Sea. The Coast Salish people were cut in half by the border with Canada, just like the Kumeyaay people were cut in half by the border with Mexico, although it looks very different because there's white magic on both sides of that border. So there are fences, there are chain link fences separating somebody's house from somebody's other's house. There's no fortress. And so you come in from the Pacific Ocean through the strait, and as you zoom in, you'll see a cluster of islands. Those are the San Juan Islands, and there's Orcas Island and Lopez Island, and now I forgot the third one, the third big one anyway. And if you follow the edge of those and you keep going in, there's a place called Deception Pass. I won't bother with that story. It's a stupid story because the colonizers were so stupid. And there's a beautiful bridge there, possibly the most beautiful bridge. I love bridges, but this one is fantastically beautiful. It's where my mother wishes us to scatter her ashes, probably not from the bridge, it's very high up, but Deception Pass State Park is where this bridge stands. And should I be turned to ashes myself, that's where I would like to be scattered as well. I have other ideas, but if I end up being burned to a crisp after I'm gone, please scatter me at the base of Deception Pass Bridge. As you zoom in and you go through Deception Pass, you'll be in this whole time you're in the Puget Sound, Salish Sea. And you go further in, and then there's a kind of a medium-sized island called Hope Island, and then on the mainland there's the Swinomish Reservation. So the Swinomish people are the people there's many tribes that were the ancestors of the Swinomish people, but their land is still there, and they're still stewarding their lands as they have for many thousands of years, and I'm so grateful to the Coast Salish people, and especially the Swinomish people, because they're the people that I know the most closely. So the river that I want to talk about is the Skagit River. It's a beautiful, beautiful river. And as you zoom in, you'll see the Swinomish Reservation. It's this dark, beautiful forest green, even from space. And then there's a gash through the land. So the colonizers cut a huge gash through the land, and on the west side they removed all the original peoples that they could onto that land, and there they remain. And they're still stewarding the land, so you can see that it's still this beautiful, lush, green patch of land. And then on the east side of the channel, the gash, is the white settler town of LaConner. And connecting the Swinomish Reservation to LaConner is the Rainbow Bridge. I've talked about the Rainbow Bridge before. So Hope Island and the Rainbow Bridge are hopeful signs for the future. We have some neighbors. And so you'll see from the satellite, you can see the patchwork quilt of farmland on the east side of the gash, the channel, and on the west side you see the most beautiful lush green lands. So I want to dedicate this song to the Skagit River and the lands which all the waters flow into the Skagit River. It's called a watershed. I encourage you to find out what watershed you're from. The lines that we have on the maps are all fake. The true lines, I believe, are the watershed lines. So those usually it goes along the peaks of the mountains, and then on one side of the peak, the water will flow down into a river valley, and then the river will drain into the sea. And so the Skagit River is the river where I was born. I was born just east of the river on a hill in Skagit Valley Hospital. And so I think that's enough. One take, Wendy. I believe that this song, while it is on the surface about Atahalan in the mythical, north of the mythical land of Arendelle, I believe this song might just be about the Skagit River. So, here we go. Where the Northwind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is found. And in her waters deep and true lie the answers and a path for you. Dive down deep into her sound, but not too far or you'll be drowned. Oh yeah, she will sing to those who hear, and in her song all magic flows. But can you brave what you most fear? Can you face what the river knows? Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a mother full of memory. Come, my darling, homeward bound. When all is lost, then all is found. I used to not believe in magic. I was a trained scientific skeptic from a very young age, but I believe in magic now, and I think that the closest access that we have as human beings is our watersheds and our rivers. So I encourage you to find whatever river you're from, and if you're from the coast, the ocean is your river, or the ocean is your lake and your river. But most of us are from some river, and just like I learned in Mr. Nelson's class, flip the map around to a different perspective. And also, Mr. Nelson had a sign in all block letters above his lectern that said, "Question everything." Even what I am telling you, question everything. And turn the map around. Turn around. Oh, I'm so nervous telling these stories. This has been One Take Wendy, Ella Moraine, my relatives. Goodbye, we love you.